Hi, everybody. Dr. Arthur Annis here of the Myrtle Grove Chiropractic and Acupuncture Center. The topic of this video is dyslexia. All right, and I will let you know right from the get go here that I am someone who is afflicted with dyslexia. So I know quite a bit about it from the inside and as well from the clinical side of it as well. So let's start off by saying what dyslexia is not. People think there's an urban myth out there that dyslexic people read backwards. And while it's true we frequently do transpose letters, but reading backwards isn't really possible. If you think about it, how could you possibly read backwards? So dyslexic people is not reading backwards. Dyslexia is a two-part word here: difficulty, and lexic, reading. So people who have difficulty reading are dyslexic. So it's very easy to diagnose this. You don't need sophisticated equipment. Now, some kids are going to learn to read more early or later than others, and that's just the way it is. But by the time we're in about third grade, you should be reading pretty good by then. And if you're not, you're probably dyslexic. And dyslexia is the result of genetics. It is a genetic based condition. It is not simply one gene, it's a combination of several genes that must be present in order for the problem to manifest. Okay? So let me tell you my story here. I went to kindergarten. I loved school. I was great at blocks and show and tell and all kinds of good things like that. And I liked school a lot. Then came first grade and they started this reading and writing thing, and I just could not figure it out. It was very difficult for me. Initially, I was placed in the most advanced reading group. Quickly, I was put into the middle reading group, and as I failed to thrive there, I was put into the lowest reading group. And from there, I was like out in the hallway with a tutor. So it was very obvious that I was reading differently than my classmates, but the officials in school all assigned it to different kids getting different aspects of scholastic abilities at different rates, and that I was a bright kid, and that eventually I would grow into reading or grow out of whatever. The word dyslexia was never described to me by anyone in school. So I went through school, first grade, second grade, on and on and on, and it was a huge struggle for me. Um, Homework was like torture, reading was like torture. You'll find this out from anyone who is significantly dyslexic, that they will absolutely hate to do academic reading and writing and will do anything they can to get out of it, doing only what is required to do to pass a class. It's just too much work for them. And we're going to talk about why that is in just a little bit here. So anyway, I continued on. I made it to senior year in high school, just doing the best I could, and not knowing exactly why I was having these troubles, but I knew I did. Then we discovered a place called the New York Institute for Child Development. And knowing that I had difficulty reading, we decided we would try and see what they could do for me. Well, this was the first time anyone ever assigned my problems, to my knowledge, to some physiologic abnormality or difference. My brain was working differently than the healthy readers were. So they put me on a specific diet, the anti-inflammatory diet. They gave me supplements. They gave me exercises. And as the treatment regime progressed, I gradually became a better and better reader and also a better writer as well. Never quite getting as good as everybody else, but well enough for my own purposes. And at this point, I'm an avid reader. I read a lot. A lot of the things I read are scientific journals, which are you take some time to read no matter what. It's not the dyslexia that slows me down. It's the difficulty in comprehending the complicated concepts that are being portrayed in that. So anyway, the New York Institute for Child Development is no longer a viable thing. They disappeared quite some time ago. We did send several people to them because of my great success that I had with their program there. And so now at Myrtle Grove Chiropractic and Acupuncture Center, we have greater tools than we had back, 40 years ago. And so we can help you with your dyslexia. On the same page, right nearby where this video is somewhere, there's going to be three pictures of dyslexic or of reading brains. One will be the ordinary reading brain, then there'll be a poor reading dyslexic brain, and then the third one is a dyslexic person who has become a capable reader. Okay, so in the normal reader, you'll find that the back parts of the brain are doing the hard work. We learn with the front part of the brain, and then it becomes automated with the back part of the brain. So the dyslexic reader must use the front part of their brain, the thinking part of their brain, to execute the tasks of reading. And this is quite stressful, and that's why you'll find the dyslexic student very, very much against reading and showing they actually go through the general adaptation syndrome of heart rate increasing when they're confronted with a reading task. So then the third picture you'll see here is someone who is a dyslexic brain who has become a capable reader. And you'll find that what has happened is during the course of their development, they have developed superior abilities in that front part of the brain, so it's able to do the reading task without the stress that would be associated with the dyslexic person who is still reading. So, in a nutshell, that's what it is. So, to review here, dyslexia is very common. 20% of the population is affected. It is affected on a spectrum where some maybe have just a little trouble reading, where some people may not be able to read at all. And this is due to genetics. This is from genes that have been in the human genome for 40 to 50,000 years, and we just didn't know this is what caused dyslexia. Dyslexia was unknown until we had to go to school, which really started in the late 19th and early 20th century when it became common for people to go to school. Otherwise, it was very common for people to not read or not learn to read, so no one knew that they had dyslexia until they were forced to read in school. So anyway, I hope you found this interesting. If you or a family member is dyslexic, feel free to call the Myrtle Grove Chiropractic and Acupuncture Center. Follow the principles of the World Brain Building Association in terms of diet and exercise, and you can overcome dyslexia and become a competent, capable reader like me. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.